Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making Old Bay salted caramel no churn ice cream. And yes, you heard me correctly, we're using Old Bay in this. To start this dish we need to make a caramel. So in a very large pot we want to add 1.5 cups of sugar and 1/4 cup of water. We're just going to let this sit to let that water absorb into the sugar for about 1 to 2 minutes. Once that's mostly absorbed, turn the heat up to medium and just let this melt and start to cook. You don't want to stir caramel, it's going to crystallize and seize up. I know this from experience, but you can swirl the pot, just brush down the sides with a little brush dipped in some water. After it's reached a beautiful golden amber, we can shut off the heat and very, very carefully add in 1 cup of heavy cream. This is going to bubble up and steam, that's why we need a large high-walled pot for this, and just be careful because you can get a little steam burn. We're going to whisk this vigorously until everything is fully incorporated before adding in 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Then we can turn the heat back on to medium, bring this up to the boil, and let this cook for 3 additional minutes. After 3 minutes, we're going to shut off the heat again. And this is where we're going to introduce the Old Bay. We're adding in 2 teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning and 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. The Old Bay and the salt are going to add a salinity to this, and the Old Bay is going to add a nuance of flavor with all those gorgeous spices. We're going to let that cool for about 20 minutes before transferring it over into an airtight container. I have this little mason jar here. Use whatever lidded container you have. Bring this completely to room temperature, and this will store in the fridge for 2 weeks. Now it's the next day, and we can make our no churn ice cream. Now to the bowl of a stand mixer, I'm adding 2 cups of heavy cream and a pinch of salt, and we just want to mix this until we get nice, soft peaks. In this bowl, I have 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of Old Bay and 1 tablespoon of vanilla, either extract or paste. We're going to mix this together until everything is well incorporated. We need the condensed milk for the sweetness and the whipped cream for the consistency of this ice cream. Once our cream is whipped, we can tip that into our sweetened condensed milk, and we're going to slowly start folding this in until everything is well mixed and cohesive. Now, the reason for this ice cream flavor, my niece, my nephew, one of my dear friends, all live in Maryland. 2 of them live in Baltimore, and there's an ice cream shop called the Charmery that does an Old Bay salted caramel ice cream. So I thought I would try to do a riff on that by doing a vanilla base with swirls of this salted caramel. And I wanted to do a no churn ice cream because not everyone has an ice cream maker. Once our mixture is fully mixed, we can tip this into a 9x5 loaf pan. I like using this metal because it's going to cool down much faster in the freezer. We're just spreading that out evenly before drizzling in our gorgeous salted caramel, and you can add as much or as little of this as you like. Then I'm going to use a chopstick and just use the chopstick to swirl this throughout our ice cream base. Then we're going to cover this with plastic wrap. I like to press it directly against the surface and pop this in the freezer overnight. So now it is the next day. Let's see the fruits of our labor. This is looking amazing. I really couldn't be happier with how this turned out, looks-wise at least. So to serve, I just have this cute little ice cream bowl, adding in a couple of scoops of our ice cream, then drizzling on a little bit more of this salted caramel. And now let's give this wild experiment a taste. The caramel is a little bitter. It has the savoriness from the Old Bay, the saltiness from the Old Bay, as well as that salt that we added. It is sweet, luscious, and absolutely delicious. The ice cream itself tastes like a really good vanilla ice cream. I will have to say the texture of this is different than your typical ice cream. It reminds me of an ice cream that I used to eat when I lived in Peru. It's a little drier, it's not as cold. I don't know how to explain it. All in all, it is really quite delicious though. But there it is, Old Bay salted caramel no churn ice cream. I really hope you all try to make this. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you loved it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because I put out new videos every Thursday. Thank you again. Happy summer, and until next time, happy cooking.